Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I have to rep my Chicago Cubs, even though they are not playing right now, which is very, very unfortunate. But, gotta wear their shirt anyway because they're one of my favorites. Not my number one favorite. My number one favorite is Rockies, followed by the Cubs. Love them. Been a long time fan of the Rockies. My dad's been a Cubs fan forever. My sister's been a Cubs fan forever. I've been a Cubs fan for, not forever, but for a while. Long time. Probably longer than you've been alive, but you know what, hey. Okay, so we were at the part where they were at the hospital with Evan getting his last cancer treatment. And so that's kind of where we left off. While Evan was getting his treatment, we went down to the cafeteria like Evan's mom had suggested. There were a lot of medical people there, of course, but also a lot of families and friends, probably doing exactly what we were doing, waiting for someone we cared about to get better. They didn't sell jelly beans, and I forgot to bring some, so I just sipped water while Kiki and Sarah Ann had ice cream sandwiches. That's interesting. So he can have water, or like that type of liquid. I thought it was maybe just strictly jelly beans. Interesting. Nothing like eating healthy at the hospital, joked Mrs. Brantley. She was making a lot of jokes, trying to stay relaxed, but I could tell that she was very nervous. After the snack, we went back to the waiting room. You guys hang out in here, Mrs. Brantley told us. I'll be in with Evan. We should be back in about 20 minutes. Kiki, Sarah Ann, and I did as we were told. There was a TV playing, but none of us watched it. Another man was there reading his phone. It was quiet until Kiki turned to me and said out of the blue, "So are you staying or going?" It was the first time anyone had directly brought that up since the argument in the cafeteria. "I honestly don't know," I said. Kiki nodded. "Okay, I'll take that," she said. That was it for the talking until Mrs. Brantley came back about 15 minutes later. "Evan's done. He's ready to see you guys," she said. We walked through a set of white double doors and into a room where he was sitting in a reclining chair with his feet up. He looked comfortable, but I could tell from his face that he wasn't. "Good as new," he said in a hoarse voice. "Really?" He gave us a weak laugh and then shrugged. "Who knows? They did some tests. We'll find out later, but no more treatments, and that's the main thing." He looked at his mom. Can we go?" "Absolutely," said Evan's mom, and she helped her son to his feet. Evan went over to Evelyn, who was lying on another table with something sticking out of her arm. They hugged. She saw us and waved with a smile. We waved back. "She's got a ways to go," Evan told us as we left, "but she'll be fine. I just know it." "Time to go home," said Mrs. Brantley. "You're not kidding," said Evan. I wasn't exactly sure where my home was, but I knew one thing. I didn't want to leave my friends. Mr. Citizenship. The next day was a big one. At school, it was graduation. Well, technically, it was called a moving up ceremony because we were just a bunch of sixth graders who were going to the junior high school next year, but they made a pretty big deal out of it. All the parents came and they gave everyone a nice certificate, and our principal, who was named Dr. Principal, if you could believe that one. What a silly name. Wouldn't that be hilarious if Mrs. Morris's name was actually named, like, Mrs. Principal? How weird. He gave a very nice speech about how, or she, I guess it's a she. Didn't really say. Sorry, I lost my spot, guys. She gave a very nice speech about how she's been in education for a long time, but this was one of the most special groups of kids she's ever had. We were all pretty sure that she says that every year. At the end, they gave out some awards. A girl named Tanya Francis got the math award. A boy named Brian Santori got the Spanish award. A girl named Rebecca Hansen got the English award. A boy named Arnold Z. Omby got the Citizenship Award. Wow. That's right, you heard correctly. Arnold Z. Omby. When I heard my name called, it didn't quite sink in at first. Only when my brother Lester smacked me on the back and his girlfriend Darlene pinched me on the cheek and my parents hugged me did I realize then. Hey, wait a second, they just called my name. I stood up and people started clapping. I walked to the front of the auditorium as I heard Dr. Principal's voice. Arnold has exemplified what it means to be a good citizen here at Bernard J. Frumstein Elementary School. He was the typical new kid, except he wasn't typical. at all. He was and is very much his own person, and we are very grateful to him for allowing us to realize that our differences are to be celebrated, not feared. I stepped up onto the stage and shook Dr. Principal's hand as she handed me a special framed certificate. "Do you want to say anything?" she said into my ear as people clapped. "We generally invite the Citizenship Award winner to say a few things. A few words." I guess so." She stepped back from the microphone and I stepped toward it. The crowd hushed. There he is, standing in front of getting his award and going to stand in front of the microphone. Oh, come on. I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Principal and everyone. When I first started coming to school, I was a little nervous, or a lot nervous, I guess, and you guys made it so much easier. I paused for a second and saw Azalea sitting in the 4th row with Evan and his parents. Both Azalea and I grew up very differently from the rest of you, as you guys know, and so thank you again for making us both feel so welcome here, and good luck to everyone at junior high school. People started clapping again as I went back to my seat. I glanced over at Azalea to try and get a sense of what she was thinking, but Mr. Brantley was leaning forward and I couldn't see her. After the ceremony was over, I accepted a ton of congratulations from a ton of people. Evan and his parents were among them, of course. Azalea was kind of lagging behind them a little, like she didn't want to interrupt. Eventually, I went over to where she was standing. "Hey, are you going to be at Evan's party?" "Of course. I live there, remember?" Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I'll see you there." Okay. I paused. Have you thought any more about... "Kind of," she said, interrupting. "But kind of not." Okay. And then everyone hugged the teachers and said how much we would miss one another and took pictures and had more cookies and cupcakes and juice, and Azalea and I mingled and ate our jelly beans and kind of did the same thing as everyone else and kind of not. Ooh, guys, we're getting so close. We are on 211 and there's 230 pages. Oh my goodness. I will read. I'm going to read until the next part. So there's like 6 pages. I'll read a little bit more. A better party than the last one. Of course, Evan's party had popcorn since it's his favorite thing in the whole world. And of course, we all jumped on his trampoline since he was the only one of our friends who actually had a trampoline. And of course, there were healthy snacks because that's just how Mrs. Brantley is. And of course, no one ate the healthy snacks. I mean, who would? I guess it depends on what she means as healthy. Like, sometimes like maybe fruits and vegetables. I like fruits, like put some strawberry on a plate or something, or even some I like celery. I don't know, some little baby carrots with ranch. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. And I know lots of you like fruits and vegetables, especially Sophia. Sophia would eat it all, wouldn't you? Okay. Halfway through the pizza, the music was blaring and a few kids were jumping around. The 6th grade version of dancing, even though they weren't technically in 6th grade anymore, as of 5 hours earlier. A bunch of other kids were taking pictures of one another with the phones they'd gotten as graduation presents. I spotted Evan in the corner, sitting by himself. At first I thought the only reason he could have been alone was because he wanted to be alone. It was his party after all, but maybe he didn't actually want to be alone. So I went over and sat down next to him. "Hey, you good?" I said. He half nodded. "Yeah, I'm pretty good, just a little tired. Also, I have to be a little careful about not being surrounded by people all the time." "Oh, that makes sense," I said. We sat there for a few more seconds and then added, "Do you remember the first time I came to a party at your house? Your birthday party?" Of course I remember. You ended up jumping out the window." "Yeah, I sure did," I said. Evan's dad was my enemy back then, and he was trying to catch me. Things sure had changed. I just want to say that I really appreciate everything you've done for me since I've gotten here," I told him. "You mean including when you first got on the bus and I flicked you on the back of your neck?" "Totes. Even including that." Evan chuckled slightly. "What are you laughing at?" I asked. "I'm laughing at the fact that you say totes now. You really are fitting in nicely." Ross came running over with the basketball. "Hey, you guys up for a game?" Evan and I looked at each other. My doctor doesn't think it's such a good idea, to be honest with you," he said. Ross looked embarrassed. "Oh, shoot, sorry I asked." No, I'm glad you asked. Maybe soon, Evan said. Ross turned to me. What about you, Ombi the zombie? You in? I sighed. Do I have a choice? No, not really. Let's do this, Ross said, laughing. And off I went to flounder around the basketball court with real humans who could actually run and jump. Every time I got the ball, my only job was to get rid of it as quickly as I could, and on my defense, my only job was to not trip over my own 2 feet. But somehow, with Brett, Kiki, and a very tall boy named Kristoff, all of my team, we managed to win 21-17. After the game, we all high-fived one another, which would have hurt a lot if zombies could feel pain. Good play, Ombi, said Kristoff. Would hang in there. He said it to me just the way he said it to all the other kids on the team, which must have meant he just saw me as another person. No better, no worse, no weirder, no smarter, no zombier. Just another person. Which is all I really ever wanted. You too, Kristoff, I said, but he had already moved on to the next teammate, which was fine with me. Time for cake, Evan's mom yelled. Woohoo! Everyone answered. The huge cake was chocolate with butterscotch icing, Evan's favorite. It says, congrats to our newest junior high schoolers. That's a big old cake. Look at that. Looks delicious. I love cake. Chocolate with butterscotch icing. My mouth is watering. Are we almost done with this chapter? Oh, yeah. But before we could eat any of that probably delicious food, Mrs. Brantley banged a fork against a glass about 10 times. Could I get everyone's attention? Everyone, please? Everyone means everyone. After the fourth everyone, people finally piped down. This is a very exciting day for all of us, Evan's mom continued. And you should all be so proud of your accomplishments as Frumstein Elementary graduates. But for one young graduate, this day is even more exciting. And I would like to invite that graduate to tell you all why. My son, Evan Brantley. Everyone turned to Evan, who looked at his mom as if to say, are you seriously making me do this right now? But she just smiled down at him, and his dad said, come on, Ev, everyone will want to know. So Evan shrugged, sighed, and rose up off his picnic table. Then he stood in front of everyone and said only 7 words. The doctor thinks I should be fine. Woo! It's possible that the reason he only said 7 words was because by the time he got the 7th word, people were already hooting and hollering and yelling stuff like, yeah, Evan rocks! It took about 5 minutes for Mrs. Brantley to calm everyone down. I want you all to know something, he said with tears in his eyes. As wonderful as this news is, it does not mean the fight is over. With something like this, the fight is never over, but if there's one person I know who is up for a fight, it's my son Evan. And with all of you to give him incredible help and support and friendship along the way, I know it's a fight he will win, he said. There was cheering all over again, and Evan was swarmed all over again too, but he managed to catch my eye. Friendship along the way, he said. That means you. I nodded. You bet it does. Then cake was served. I had jelly beans. They were delicious. Oh, their friendship is so stinking cute. I love it. Yep, and we only have, well, oh boy, my phone's ringing. I'll have to answer that later. We're on, okay, so we have, let's see. Woo! 11 pages! Oh my goodness, guys! Woo! This is going to be interesting. I mean, look at that. There's like hardly anything left. Hardly anything. Can you see that? See how much there's left? There's like nothing. Nothing. Hardly. Hardly at all. So, tomorrow, I'll finish it. I don't think it's going to be as long as today's video because there's not much left, but, we're going to finish it tomorrow. We're going to finish all 3 of them by tomorrow, you guys. This is such a really good series. I wonder if this author is going to make another one. I kind of doubt it, but because it sounds like, you know, they it's the ending of the middle school, but maybe, or elementary school, maybe this author is going to make a middle school one. Ooh, you guys will have to stay tuned, and maybe in the next year or 2, this author is going to come up with some more, which would be really cool because, you know, you guys have listened to all 3 of them. So just imagine hearing and continuing on the story. That'd be really cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's, or today's, tonight, whatever, whenever you're watching. You're probably watching this tonight before you go to bed. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I can't wait till tomorrow. Bye, guys.